Ones that was talking that trash are the same ones circling wagons. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. What? You got me feeling like I'm Josh. Okay. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. Josh. Yeah. Got me feeling like I'm who? Josh. Yeah. Josh. Ones that was talking that trash are the same ones circling wagons. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. What? You got me feeling like I'm Josh. Okay. You got me feeling like I'm Josh Allen. Yeah. Josh. Yeah. Got me feeling like I'm who? Josh. Yeah. Josh.
The Buffalo Bills send the Ralph off in style with red helmets as they demolish the Jets 35-8 and head into the playoffs as the 6th seed. We are going to recap this game, discuss the future, discuss some memories at Highmark, and a bunch of other things on this episode of Circling the Wagons. Let's go.
To my friend Nate and all the listeners of this podcast, no one circles the wagons than Nate Descape. Circle the wagons, Buffalo.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Hey, let's go, Buffalo. Hey, let's go, Buffalo. The Bills make me wanna shout.
What is up, Bills Mafia? Welcome to another episode of Circling the Wagons, a Buffalo fan base podcast. I'm so excited to talk to you. I've got my co-host John here to discuss the Bills' final game at Highmark Stadium, Rich Stadium, the Ralph, New Era Field, whatever you want to call it. It's the last game there. We're going to discuss the game in general. There were a few highlights, maybe even some lowlights. With the way that it turned out. But we're going to talk about the future. The Bills playing the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville next week. They are the 6th seed, which means they have the potential to maybe have a home game in the playoffs if they face off against the 7th seed, which is the Chargers. So lots of things to discuss. Lots of fun things to discuss. Excited to be here with you guys. But I'd like to welcome my co-host, John, to the podcast. John, it's the end of an era. How are you feeling, man?
Feeling good. That felt like the best preseason game ever.
Which is funny because they looked terrible in the preseason this year, didn't they? They looked like dog shit, but today they look great. Of course, it is the Jets. You know, they're fighting for the second pick of the draft. But yeah. John,
yeah,
go ahead.
Sorry. I obviously the Jets had a lot of backups in too with injuries and other considerations, but it was good to have our depth players play more in case of injury. I guess we'll talk about injuries more later, but and also giving some of the primary starters an extra kind of ball spy week, it was kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure. It was cool seeing Josh Allen trot out there for the first series and then, hand the ball off. And I think he just handed it off once and then just literally went right back to the bench, right?
Yeah.
It was
Same
good
as
to be able
last year.
to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Same as last year. It's like a built-in bye week, which is great to have considering. And then there's really no worry about the Bills losing this game. I mean, it wasn't even close. I was hoping you and I were texting back and forth. We didn't want to jinx it by saying it out loud, but man, wouldn't it have been cool to end with a blowout of the Jets, 35-0 or whatever. But, even the Jets were able to find the end zone at some point.
Yeah, shutout would have been sweet, but it was a good win.
It was a good win. It was good to see Mitchell Trubisky looked halfway decent, against the Jets, who are awful. The Jets ended the game, which was close, by the way. There were a couple of throws that looked like they could have been interceptions. The the Jets ended the first team since 1932 to not have an interception by their defense, which is crazy, right? I mean, they have a
Yeah.
defensive head coach.
Yeah, they started keeping track, I think, in 1933 for interceptions, but the NFL's only been around since 1920. So
It's,
basically, they're only teams and 18 games at that, right? They had a game to a few games to try to do it.
yeah, it's funny. Like the people in
Extra
the 19
bounce of a ball, like doesn't even, there's always a weird bounce, right? You always get interceptions. Not a single player for the Jets this year.
there's always someone that just ends up randomly throwing it right to your defensive back by mistake, right? Like that happens. Josh Allen does that. I mean, so it's got to happen. You would think to the
Tip
Jets.
balls, anything but no.
Nope. So that's great. If you guys want to get in, if you're watching this live stream and you want to get in with any of your thoughts on this game or the playoffs or any memories of the Ralph, anything that you have, we're going to share a little bit later, but definitely feel free to get those in. Our guy Charlie B is already in. He says today the Bills played like they should every day. You score, you stop your opponent, and keep scoring. No relenting. I like that. I like the fact that it was a completely stress-free game for us. We just watched. You kind of needed them to win too, especially as the Chargers, could have had that potential 6th seed if the Bills didn't win. But yeah,
Well, it depends on who you want to play. Would you rather play the Jaguars or the Patriots?
yeah, that's true. That's true. Honestly,
I don't know. It's the playoffs. It's going to be hard no matter what. So,
exactly. So Mr. Big 921 is in. He says, "Happy New Year! Closing out the stadium with a big win was exactly what this team needed going into the playoffs." It was great. It looked like they did a really good tribute to the stadium, having a lot of ex-players, ex-coaches in, at Highmark today for that. It was a cool send-off. You knew this was good. Is they set up the whole off season and the entire season knowing that this was going to be the last one, so they treated it as such. And we Bills fans knew that it was going to be the last one, so it's kind of cool that they did it. In fact, I was listening to the pregame on WGR, and it was just a lot of fans talking about, they're much older than us, even just talking about their experiences watching certain players play. Or one guy was talking about going to the very first game where he still has his coin from, the entry that day. I don't know, just cool memories.
Yeah, that's got to be so cool. Do you remember your first game?
Of course I do. Of course I do.
Which one?
You remember the first girl you kissed? Of course, John. I remember my first game.
Tell us. What was your first game? I want to hear it.
Right now? Do it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Good, because I want to hear yours right after.
Sure.
So I actually didn't go to a game until I was in college. So I went to UB, University of Buffalo, for college. And part of the reason I think I picked that school as opposed to other schools was just the fact that I was such a big Bills fan. And I really had never gone to Buffalo that many times because I didn't have any family in Buffalo. And I mean, it's so funny because we live in the Rochester area, but there are places of Rochester I hardly ever go to, like it just is what it is. And I went there, and my aunt, for my birthday, my 18th birthday, she got us tickets to see the Titans there. It was like a Monday night game, Monday night or Sunday night, I can't remember. But like she took me to my first game, which was really cool. I got a reminder of that. I'm sure she'd love to hear that. She took me there, and I remember the Bills just barely won. It was like a 10-7 game in the beginning of the season. And yeah, Flutie was playing that game. I'm almost positive Flutie was playing that game. So yeah, it was cool. It was my first game ever. What about you? What was your first game? How old were you?
I was 9, and I got tickets for my birthday. And it became a tradition. I would get like Bills tickets like every year for one game each year thereafter. So it was 1992. It was a season opener, home opener and season opener. It was against the Rams. They blew them out of the water. It was like 40-7 or something. I remember James Lofton breaking the all-time receiving yardage record in that game, and like them doing like a thing about it after he did that. And then Thurman Thomas scored a bunch of touchdowns. It's really cool.
That's so cool. That's a really good first game. So who are these from? Your aunt, uncle, grandmother, grandparents?
But my parents.
Oh, your parents got it for you. Okay, cool.
But there was, I can't remember if it was that game or I think there were several games where like a whole bunch of the family went because my family on both sides is from Buffalo.
Mhm.
Um, both my parents are from Buffalo, so yeah, we did that every year, and I don't remember if like the whole like I do remember at least a couple of games where like grandparents and aunts and uncles all went to, and there was like we had a couple of rows, but that was really cool.
So did your parents? So your parents went with you, right? Did they just take you, or did you go with other family members, or was it a big thing, or
I
just?
think it was a big thing. I think we went with a bunch of family members, and um, that was really cool. That also reminds me of my um, going to training camp as a kid to Fredonia and getting. I still have it. It was like my favorite Bills T-shirt, right? Because it was the only thing I had on me, and like Jim Kelly and Frank Reich were right there, and like they both signed the shirt.
Oh, wow.
So I like obviously never wore it again after that, but I still have it. It's
Do you
really
still have
cool.
it? That was going to
Yeah.
be my next question. Is if you still
Yeah.
have, dude, you are diehard because people from Buffalo would be like, oh, that's not that big of a deal. Fredonia is not close, but it's like you're from the Rochester area. Like that is not a close drive. Or I mean, your parents were diehards. Like that's where you get your fandom from. And you didn't you say that your parents like gave you a Jim Kelly, not Jim Kelly jersey, but like some Joe Ferguson jersey or something, like when you were a baby?
Oh no, it wasn't a jersey, but it was a shirt.
A shirt.
With the number 12 on it, and it was like a picture of me when I was like 9 months old.
Mhm.
And the funny thing is, when I was like older and I first saw the picture, I was like, oh, Jim Kelly, number 12, and I didn't like. It was like a little bit while later, I'm like, wait a second, Jim Kelly didn't play when I was 9 months old for the Bills. It was Joe Ferguson.
That's so cool. But still, that's a great memory, man. That's awesome. So you did that every year. Do you still do that or no? You don't do that anymore.
No. By the time I went to college, because I was up at
Yeah, not near Buffalo.
I was away. So and I know we got season tickets a couple different years, right? So I tried to go to a game once a year still now. Well, I went to the Bucks game this year.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was a good game to go to, man. You picked a great game to go to. Josh
Yeah.
Allen 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I ended up going to the Chiefs game this year. Obviously, another good game. I had an offer for tickets today, but ended up turning them down for a family function. But that's
That would have been
awesome.
a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been. Mr. Big says never made it to Buffalo for a game, but saw Buffalo versus New Orleans in the Alamo Dome in 2005. I'm sad that I could never afford the trip from South Texas, dude. I don't blame you. That is not a cheap thing, especially now that they're good. It wasn't. I mean, when you and I had tickets, we had season tickets. I think just one season. I think we just got them one season together. But I mean, they were like, I want to say, I think we mentioned this on a recent podcast. They're like $300 for season tickets. Like they were not expensive. It was at 07, 08 or something like that. I can't remember.
It might have been 5 something, but it was like rock pile seats and everything. But
5 something barely gets you a game now. It gives you like, it's like
I know.
400 for a game.
I know, it's crazy.
For one game. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how the new stadium is for getting tickets if we ever go to another Bills game again. But the good thing about it, like, it has the memories. I think it's one of those things where, it's like, your first car that you ever drive, unless you got like a brand new car driving, like, it's not like the best car, it's kind of a beater, like that's kind of how Highmark is. Like, it's not bad, but it's just, I don't know. It's old school. There's a lot of improvements that they've made with the new one that they don't have at Highmark. I mean, it was time. It's one of those things where it's sad because of the memories, but at the same time, like it's time to move on. It's probably is 10 years a little late, like the Bills deserve a good stadium, a big stadium, and all the politics and whatever involved in it. It is what it is. It sucks, but like this is a good thing.
Oh.
It's an improvement moving forward.
Yeah, I think new is good. The only two things for me is, I think the biggest thing is, for a lot of people, they're going to be the prices are going to even go higher.
Yeah.
Especially the season ticket holders and PSLs and all that. I've heard stories about that. And then the other thing is less seats.
Yeah, not ideal. You would rather have a have, a stadium that
Sell
gets
out,
as
right?
yeah.
So that might even be more disappointing. Not to have the decibels and uh, that home field advantage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it won't matter. I don't know. I'm skeptical about that.
I mean, I'm excited for fans that go because, with I I was talking to someone that went to the game 2 weeks ago, or it was the Eagles game, and the rain sucks, man. When it rains, it's the absolute worst at that stadium, like, because snow is one thing. Snow is whatever. Like, it's annoying. Cold is annoying, but it's not the end of the world. It's just, it is what it is if it's cold. Even if it's windy, it still sucks, but it is what it is. When it rains, it's just a miserable experience there. It is what it is. But now with the stadium being like 80% covered for all the seats, or 90% covered, like, you don't have to worry about that anymore. That's like half the battle. So I'm excited for fans to be able to actually enjoy that portion of it.
Yeah, and for them putting it across the street, and for us to still have like the tailgating experience. I know there's talk about, oh, move downtown, but then like where you get a park and that kind of stuff and tailgate. So I'm glad that the tailgate stuff is gonna be intact. That's the reason to even go to a Bills game, I think.
Exactly. And, as much as people wanted it downtown, that wasn't going to be as viable an option for tailgating, all that stuff. So, yeah, that absolutely. And the Pagulas did right by that, keeping the tailgating atmosphere, because, there's no advantage to the Pagulas to help out tailgating. There absolutely is none. There's no financial incentive for them, because the more drunk you get out in the parking lot, the less drunk you're going to get in the stadium, right? So they can't make money out in the parking lots, especially if they're not, lots owned by the Bills. So, kudos to them for doing that. So, John, this game in general, not a whole lot to take away from it. First and foremost, though, John, how sexy were those red helmets? Seeing them for the first time in I don't know how many years, 15, I don't know. It's been forever.
Oh my gosh, that's the wall of fame right there. Is the red helmets. I'm watching their fourth string tight end, like, and I'm thinking it's Andre Reed out there because he's wearing number 83, and I see the helmet. I'm like, wait a second, this isn't right.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. Like, all these memories are coming back. It's just this game. I mean, even if they lost, it wouldn't have been as good. But, like, just seeing those helmets was definitely the wall of fame for today's experience. I was so happy that we got to see that. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. I wished they would do it more often. To be honest, I hope they do it again, and I hope that this becomes like once a season, twice a season, 3 times. I don't know, but
Home opener next year,
yeah,
new stadium. Let's do
yeah.
it.
When they hoist that banner, is that what you're saying?
Hope so.
We'll have to talk about that a little bit later with their chances in the playoffs as a 6th seed. But yeah, all right. So yeah, that looked good, John. Were there any, like, besides the obvious amazing thing of the helmets being showcased for the first time, are there any players or any plays or anything that stood out to you on the offensive side or the defensive side, or anything in general? Because I'll tell you what, I was, before we get into the negatives, which we kind of alluded to earlier, I was, there were some players that I thought looked pretty good out there. I thought, Gabe Davis looked good. He's playing against mostly second stringers, and Jets players, in general aren't necessarily first stringers. Mitch Trubisky looked good, 22 for 29. I mean,
59.
59. Yeah, exactly. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I saw a funny tweet where I retweeted it, and it said, based on how Mitch Trubisky is playing against the Jets, he should be up for MVP, right? Like, that's how this works, right? So,
Well, it might have a quarterback controversy on our hands, and maybe running back too.
dude, Ray Davis. I'm glad you brought that up. Ray Davis looked amazing, didn't he?
Yeah.
If you had to guess what his yards per carry were, do you have that in front of you?
7.2.
7.2. 7.2 yards per carry. Again, it's against the Jets, so it's basically a preseason game. But I mean, it looked good.
Here's a trivia question for you, if you don't already know. How many first downs did the Bills have today?
Oh, geez, I don't know that off the top of my head. Let's see. They had at least 4 drives because they scored 4 times, so probably 7 or 8 drives. How many first downs can you get on each drive? 2, to 3. So 8 drives, 2 to 3. I'm going to say 20 first downs.
Incorrect.
Higher or lower?
Higher.
Oh, wow. Okay, 24?
Higher.
What? Okay, 27?
Higher.
Are you kidding me? 30?
Yes.
Wow. 30 first downs? Jeez.
Insane.
That's an awesome stat. Yeah, the offense was humming. You know what's funny is some of the play calling, I was like, how come we're not doing this during the season? Like, it looks so effortless. Like there was like
They're
guys
trying
were
out new
open.
they're trying out new stuff on the Jets.
I know, let's try. Dude, it's like, but these aren't even the players that are going to be trying out those plays, It's like, oh, man.
Reggie Gilliam for like a however many yard reception for a first down.
What a great catch by Reggie Gilliam on the sidelines. I'm like, where has this been? Dude, throw this out in the season, the fullback pass or, fullback catch. Like, oh, man. I saw something. I think Mookie was tweeting that out, that Josh Allen was calling plays, which would be awesome if he was, right? Like, why not? This is the game to do it, right? Like, but if that's the case, it looked incredible today on offense. Just, guys were open, and Mitch Trubisky, to his credit, he was pretty accurate in most capacities. John, was there anyone that disappointed you on either side of the ball, or you're just like, I wish they got a little bit more out of him? I mean, we saw TJ Sanders. He got his first sack in the NFL today. Ogunjobi looked pretty good. Who's number 72? Zion
Logue.
Yeah.
Zion Logue.
Zion Logue. He looked good.
Yeah. I from a play perspective, I don't think I can really single anybody out. I mean, for me, like the biggest like if you're doing a wall of shame, it would be the Prater and Harrison injuries.
Yeah, dude, why can't we just why? He injures the same quad, and part of me is thinking, McDermott has always been pretty conservative with injuries, hasn't he been?
Yeah, but they don't have any other kickers. I can understand the kicker thing. Maybe Harrison playing that late could go either way on, because they really only have so many corners anyway, and you want to get the rookie more experience. So you're not going to put Benford or White out there at that point in time, although White went out after Harrison came out.
Yeah, if he had to, right?
But yeah, I don't think I can fault him for that. It just stinks that happened.
Yeah. Doesn't that seem like the theme of this entire season? If you were to look back at the season, besides the fact that the Bills have no good wide receivers or no top tier wide receivers, or that maybe that they have the worst wide receiving core in the league, the other theme to this season, I think, would be injuries, just nonstop. Whether Ed Oliver gets injured after his first amazing game, comes back after 3 or 4 games, and then he gets injured again right away. Michael Hoyt has a great game. A game and a half later gets injured, out for the season. It's guys even before the season. Hairston was injured before the season. I mean, guys that were backups that can't be backups anymore because they got injured, and we could have used them as backups. I feel like that's been one of the biggest themes this season, is just how many guys have been injured. I mean, the reason why Matt Prater's here at all is because Tyler Bass went on IR. So you look at that, it's like, well, and you and I were texting, it's like, when is Tyler Bass coming back? I think the idea was that, he would stay on IR unless we needed, maybe. But then I realized through a press conference that someone did ask McDermott about that late in December. And he mentioned that, Bass was trying to come back without surgery. He had a setback, so he ended up having to get surgery at the beginning of December. His season's shut down. There's absolutely no way he's coming back for the playoffs. Ed Oliver apparently had a setback where he's probably not going to be ready for the playoffs. It's just, dude, one after another. Josh Allen was injured before this game. I mean, he would have played, obviously, the entire game if he had to, but he was injured before this game. I mean, the Bills just cannot stay healthy, right? It's just, I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah. Nothing good, nothing catastrophic, I don't think. But There definitely have been some significant injuries. I think the Hoyt and Oliver ones were pretty bad, and then obviously this last game, Prater and Harrison getting hurt again just before the playoffs. Not ideal.
Well, Bernard's hurt before the playoffs.
Mhm.
Daquan Jones was injured earlier. Spencer Brown was injured earlier. Like small things, but I mean, I don't know. Ideally they'd be getting healthier, but we'll see. We'll see. As long as Josh Allen's healthy, like there's always a chance. That's the one thing we have to hang our hat on. Dalton Kincaid was out tonight, a little bit late, more than I wanted him to be necessarily, right? Like we were texting about that. We're like, should you pull him? Like, why does he keep getting the ball thrown to him? But he's fighting injury, so we won't probably be getting him 100%. I don't know. But then Dawson Knox is stepping up. He looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's the Jets, but like Trubisky looked good, Ray Davis looked good. Like a lot of these other backups looks pretty good. Vandermark, like them getting reps and maybe that added confidence too. That's only going to help if somebody else ends up going down.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because the offensive line, I mean, that's probably their best. They're one of their best assets besides the running game and Josh Allen is their offensive line, and they're deep. Like they looked good today, making rushing holes and making I don't know, they're pushing the pot. They're good. Like they're deep and good. So if there's one thing you want to criticize Brandon Beane for the wide receiving core, well then you have to give him credit for the offensive line that he's built up because there's potential starters that are backups for the Bills out there. So that's a good thing to have. So let's see some of the comments I have. Mr. Big said the game went pretty much as expected. Running game continued to be the focal point as the biggest strength of this team. Keep this bully mentality. Keep Brady from calling screens. Yeah, no screen passes called today that I can remember. John Robert is in. He says concerned about Matt Prater and Max Hairston. I am as well. Johnny, you texted me the tweet from Thigh Doctor saying he thinks it's a lower ankle injury. Thigh Doctor on X thinking it's lower ankle injury. Probably. You said he was in a walking boot after the game. Not a good sign. I mean, at this point, the way that this season has gone, I'm not expecting him for the playoffs essentially, which is unfortunate because we don't have Darius Slay either. Remember, we claimed him off waivers. He's not coming. And then in order to do that, who did we have to release? Jamarcus Ingram, and now he's with the Texans. So it's like, this would have been a perfect game for Jamarcus Ingram to be playing instead of Maxwell Harrison, right? Maybe give Maxwell Harrison the second quarter, but then you take him out for Jamarcus Ingram. They literally didn't have enough people. Dorian Strong is on IR. He may never play again. He was injured. Like they didn't. So like that's not.
I don't get like the Darnell Savage. Like, wouldn't you have brother of Ingram? Like, I don't know.
What do you mean, Darnell Savage?
He was playing today, right?
Yeah. What about Ingram? You mean him instead of Hairston?
No. Like, do they have Savage at the time? Did they have the ability to cut Savage instead of Ingram, or did they not have Savage yet? I don't remember.
I don't remember when they got Savage. That's a great question. I have to look that up, but because I feel like Savage is relatively new.
Also, Cam Lewis hasn't been having a very good year.
No, he's not. He's not looking great, is he? Stepping in for Taron Johnson. Hopefully Taron Johnson is healthy so we don't have to see much of Cam Lewis. But no, I'd agree. He's not having a great year. I mean, Taron Johnson's not having a great season compared to his standards.
No.
But, all things considered, like the Bills defense, if we want to look forward past this game, what are you most confident in? What are you most scared of, going into the playoffs? I'll put injuries as one of the things that concerns me the most.
I think giving up big plays. And the Jaguars are a team that could do that. So I think that kind of scares me going into next week, giving up big plays.
Which plays are you thinking about specifically, like passing plays?
I think either. Like they're good at containing and like getting them to third down and things like this, but a lot of the time I feel like they just give up a big play. It doesn't matter if it's run or pass game, but just a huge play kind
That's a
of
good
thing.
one. That's a good one. Limiting the big plays. Defense, it scares me more that if the other team has a really good run game. Those seem to be the teams that the Bills struggle the most against defensively, or a team that has a rushing attack that is like a two-headed monster or something like that. But like I'm trying to think of the Dolphins with A-Chain and the other running back. I can't think of his name. All of a sudden, like they both went off in the loss that the Bills had to the Dolphins.
Was it Jalen Wright? Or was
Yeah.
it the other, or was it their other guy, Ollie Gordon? They had
Ollie Gordon. There you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Let's see. So those scare me. What scares me more than the defense and giving up the big play is how the offense performs. How is the offense going to perform against a Jacksonville Jaguars team who is built up? I'm going to share my screen, John, so you can see the screen I'm looking at, the website I'm looking at. So we're looking at the Jaguars stats, right? So here we have, their stats this season. As far as, their defensive ranks, they're like one of the worst, not one of the worst, but they're not a good ranking. They're like bottom third in the league in pass defense, right? But they're one of the best run defense teams. They are the number one run defense team as far as yards go in the NFL. Like literally one of the best out there. I heard a stat before the game that they haven't even given up a 100-yard rusher yet this season. So that scares me. The Bills offense in general scares me more than the Bills defense, because I don't expect the Bills defense to be great, but I do expect the Bills offense to be able to put up 25, points a game and make, if the Bills defense gives up 40 points, what can you do? But they don't usually do that. So the Bills offense is what worries me more than the defense.
I expect the Bills offense to put up 30. And if they put up less than that, then I'm disappointed.
Every game, you mean, not just this next game?
Every game. This could be a Brandon Cooks game against the Jaguars.
Dude, Gabe Davis revenge game.
It could be a Gabe Davis and Brandon Cooks game.
I mean, how confident do you feel if the Bills go into this game and they're mostly healthy offensively? Kincaid is back. Dawson Knox
they're going to have to throw it downfield if they're going to want to win the game, I think.
Agreed.
They don't do a lot of that, and I don't know.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they do against this defense trying to run James Cook. How creative can Joe Brady get with this game? Everyone, is saying, "Oh, what is he? What has he got behind? Up his sleeve for the playoffs?" And from my memory, John, correct me if I'm wrong, he doesn't bring in a whole lot of wrinkles in the playoffs. It feels like maybe to the people who study film, who are really good at film watchers. Who are really good at watching film and really good at like deciphering different formations and run blocking schemes. Like maybe to those guys are like, oh my God, like Joe Brady is so creative. Maybe. But like passing wise, like
this could be the year.
I'm hoping.
That's why they sucked all year, because they're holding back.
Dude, do a tush push at like 3rd and goal, right? And instead of running into the pile, all of a sudden Jackson Hawes splits off and he runs runs out in the flat for a touchdown, right? Like do something like that.
Yeah.
This is the time of year to do this, right? I haven't even looked at that game. Do you know what the spread is for that one yet?
I do know it. I was gonna be in my next trivia question for you.
Oh, okay. Okay, you want to do that right now then before I look it up?
Sure. Let me see if it's still the same. I don't think it would have changed, but
yeah. So that's what worries me most in the playoffs is how hot can Josh be? And unfortunately, the last game that we saw, the offense looked really discombobulated up until the end. But the good thing about this team is one thing that I think should give Bills fans confidence is they're never out of it. Even though the Bills, didn't look good offensively, at the end of the game, they were like several feet away from a Khalil Shakir 2-point conversion of winning, right? Like as many mistakes as they made, like the team was in it. They were that close to winning it. So I think Bills fans should be confident about that. So do you have it, John? You have the spread. First off, I'm going to ask. I'm going to guess the Jaguars are favored in this one.
No.
The Bills are favored. All right. I bet you it's by like a 1.5.
That's correct.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's what she said.
It's a nice spread. That's a good thick spread. It doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I'll take that. I was not expecting that. What do they say? If it's a home team, aren't they supposed to get like a 3-point advantage? So technically, if the Bills are favored by 1.5, then really they're figuring the Jaguars are going to win by 1.5. Like that's what the real line is.
I feel like that's historically been the case, but I kind of feel like over the last several years, it's really like 1 or 2 points, not necessarily 3.
Okay, so they think it's pretty much even then, really.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it's more of a pick 'em. If it was on neutral field. Now let's remember also this is in Jacksonville, which doesn't always have the best turnout for fans. No offense to Jacksonville. But
John, of their 5 losses this season that the Bills had, how many were away?
of the Bills' 5 losses, how many were away? So they lost at home to New England.
Mm-hmm.
Houston was in Houston. I'm gonna say most of them.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 were away games. The only 2 home games were, like you said, the Patriots game and the Eagles game just recently. In the Bills' defense, okay, that Patriots game, they play that one again. I think the Bills win that one. Like they looked awful. Like they tried
a lot of
everything
things went wrong. Yeah,
so many things. Not only that there was a Sean Hockley officiating crew. Like they were awful. Like they were calling everything against the Bills, and it was just. I mean, the Bills had to play 2 different.
Do you think we'd be better off if we had lost this game and played New England next week? Would that have been better? Maybe not for the last game of Highmark, but from a playoff perspective. Green Bay does look really good. The only team he beat with a winning record was Buffalo, though. So all the other games that he won.
Yeah, what they have they have a historically easy schedule, like going back to like the 30s. Like they have one of the easiest schedules ever in NFL history. I'm so glad that they don't have that first round bye, though. That is
me too. I'm glad Denver got it because I'm not scared about Denver at all.
No,
they have a great defense, but the offense I'm not worried about. It's similar to Houston, really. Even though I didn't want to play Houston in the first round either necessarily.
Mm-hmm. The Colts scored 30 points with their backups, though. I mean,
well, Houston pulled starting. Yeah, Houston pulled their starters after the first half, though, too.
Did they? Okay. The Colts are still putting up points, though. Bills play that game again. I don't know if it goes the same way. Both their tackles were injured in that game. I don't know, man. There's lots of things you could take away from those. Man, there's just the good thing that you can look at it is the Bills were never out of any of these games. They made a few comebacks, like against good teams like the Ravens and the Patriots.
Bengals.
Bengals, thank you. Another game I'm thinking of, that was the Bengals game. They have the ability to win. It's just a matter of honestly like eliminating the mistakes, not turning the ball over unnecessarily. Josh Allen not taking 30-yard sacks. Like stuff like that, like that just kill your team. Like there was at least, I want to say 6 points that Josh Allen took away against the Eagles by running around the way he did, just running in general. There's one play near, his 4th and goal that he tried to run for it with 3 Eagles defenders in his face instead of trying to dump it off to Brandon Cooks, right to the side of him and Ty Johnson right in front of him. Like there was things that mistakes he made. And then they were at the Eagles 30-yard line. It was third down and he runs backwards for 20 yards. And then they're out of field goal range, right? So Josh Allen, so much of this depends on how he plays. Do we get the really good Josh Allen, the calm, composed Josh Allen, which we really haven't seen. We have seen, just not against the Eagles in the most recent scene, but he looked great against the Bengals, like in the second half. Great against the Patriots in the second half. He's calm, cool, collected. Which Josh Allen are we going to see against the Jaguars, right? And more often than not, you see the better one. Unless the pass rush or the defensive line is really good.
Yeah, and receivers got to get open too.
Oh yeah, that whole receiver thing, John. But Dalton and Kincaid.
Yeah, Kincaid. You see a play where Keon Coleman, he had that 38-yard reception. He was like wide open, like nobody within 15 yards of him. He caught the ball and he almost didn't look like he knew what to do with it. It's like, oh, what?
John, when was the last time you saw a Bills wide receiver that open? I didn't know what to do.
Oh, and it wasn't because he got separation. They just lost. They just didn't. They just stopped covering him.
It had nothing to do with Keon Coleman's amazing separation skills or route running ability. It's just where he sat in the zone. There was just nobody covering that zone, and he could oh my gosh, I can actually run with the ball. What do you think of Keon Coleman? Just in general, I was glad that he was active today to get some experience, but
yeah, I don't know. There was one play where I saw him basically with his hands in his pockets when the ball went to the other side of the field, not really doing anything. Mm-hmm. But he had that 2-point conversion, looks pretty nice. So, and they had that one play near the goal line, or did they rule it a touchdown? No, that was the other play. No, it was close to the conversion. Yeah, 2-point conversion, and he had one catch that was to the 1 or 2 yard line or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So I don't know. I think it was fine overall.
Doesn't give you any more confidence going into the playoffs. So you're not like, oh, he's going to be a factor at all.
He's probably their 6th receiver, right?
Yeah. Well, you and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. We had the top 4 receivers: Shakir, Palmer, Gabe Davis, and Tyrell Shavers. They're the top 4 that should be on the that should be active for sure every Sunday from now on. And then it's just a matter of the 5th one. Do you want Mecole Hardman returning punts? Do you see an advantage of having Keon Coleman in there, which I don't necessarily know if there is one. I mean, Gabe Davis, as far as I'm concerned, Gabe Davis is the guy over Keon Coleman each and every week. There should never be a day where, unless Gabe Davis is injured, that he should be inactive.
No, and I think the reason why they had Coleman returning punts today was to see if there was more of a reason to try to keep him active, and I don't know if I saw it.
Do you like how the announcers were talking about it is oh, he's only at the 37-yard line. He's figuring out a short punt. the
nope, he was wrong.
He was wrong. The Jets punter punts at 50 yards, and he's sprinting back to the Bills side of the field.
Yeah.
It's yeah, who told? Was that bad coaching or was that just Keon? It's so funny, It's.
I think he's number 6.
I think he's number 6. I agree. I was listening to another pregame a few weeks ago. It's one of my favorite things to do as well. I'm doing yard work to listen to Chris Brown or WGR, and they were discussing. We don't watch film; we just see clips that people share on social media or whatever. But one of the most damning things that Chris Brown and Eric Woods said about Keon Coleman was, we've heard effort. People are oh, he's low effort, on running routes. Where they were just, and those guys, because they work for the Bills, they're not going to be too critical of Bills players, right? They always try to say, well, he needs to work on this, right? They're not going to be so-and-so sucks. They won't say that.
Oh, no, yeah.
But for them, they were super critical of Keon Coleman. And Eric Wood was specifically saying, when Josh Allen is doing the scramble drill, that's when you have to work your hardest as a receiver. Because you have to find a spot and you have to give all out effort. That's not just I'll just wander around here. It's no, you have to go to a spot that Josh Allen can find you, right? You have to bust your butt. And they were saying Keon Coleman takes those plays very, very much like half speed, right? And to the point where Eric said it pretty like nicely, like, well, it's not what you want to see. And Chris Brown just bad luck, or maybe it was the other way around. Chris Brown was talking about Eric Wood. Eric Wood, the former player, is like, that's such a bad luck. And if he's saying that as a former player, a guy's saying, how awful it looks for your receiver to doing that because he's either seen that or he's seen other players do that from other teams. Like, it's bad, right? So that effort and then showing up late to meetings. I mean, this, 6th receiver. He should be the last guy to come in my opinion. At this point, like after McCole Hardman, I'm sorry, do we forget Brandon Cooks? We were talking about receivers. So I did. So Brandon Cooks should definitely be in the top 4 now, right? So you have Khalil Shakir, Gabe Davis, Brandon Cooks, and then it's Tyrell Shavers, McCole Hardman, Gabe Davis. Am I missing? So this should be the top 4. Davis, Cooks, Shakir, and Shavers.
And would they have Palmer too, right?
Yeah, Palmer's got to be. Who do you put in? Do you put in Palmer as a 4th? I mean, I haven't. So if you're just going based off of, they signed him as a guy they should be playing, but based off what I've seen, I'm not saying that this guy should definitely be starting over Tyrell Shavers.
So Hardman right now, I think, is on practice squad, right? Is that correct?
Oh, yeah, that's true. He is on the practice squad. You're right.
So Coleman would be their 6th if Cooks was active instead, right? So then the question is, you pull up Hardman and then make Coleman inactive also.
Yeah.
It depends if they want 5 or 6 receivers also. And since they don't throw the receivers that much, I don't think they're going to have 6 active receivers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, either way, it's 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
They probably don't bring Hardman up and Coleman will be inactive.
Yeah.
And Shakir will return kicks, punts.
Which isn't really like a big thing because he's usually just taking them and catching them, fair catching them, or going 5 yards. In my opinion, it scares me that he's even out there. As one of their best receivers. But then again, they don't use Khalil Shakir like they used to in previous seasons. When Khalil Shakir was playing out of the slot more and not taking as many wide receiver, screens, he was the guy that was in the slot that would, he would be open and he would get, he was the yak king, And not that he's not having a good season for that, but he has almost the same amount of receptions and like 100 less yards. Like the way that they're utilizing him, I don't think is the best way.
I think it's also other teams are just keying in on him because he's their best receiver, and to have your best receiver be a slot guy isn't really ideal either.
No. Oh well, yeah. So things that concern us, right? But I mean, ideally, so like talk about just pass catchers in general. Like, I mean, if it's up to me, John, and I'm looking at all my best pass catchers, the ones I want to see the field the most is Dalton Kincaid. Is one of the top ones. And then you either have Shakir as one of the top ones, and then it's Gabe Davis is another one, and then maybe Dawson Knox at this point. Dawson Knox or not Tyrell Shavers, Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson is one of my favorite receiving backs that the Bills have. He's great coming out of the backfield. What would you list as your top 5 going into the playoffs that the Bills should utilize the most?
Top 5 pass catchers?
Mm-hmm.
Kincaid's the number 1. I mean, the whole offense, I think, is a lot better with Kincaid on the field. So Kincaid's definitely number 1. I mean, I might want to mention Cook.
Cook, sure. I mean, he drops some, but yeah, I like Cook. I like Cook when he's got the ball. When he catches it, he's great.
But yeah, after that, it's Cooks.
Yeah.
I think Cooks could be a factor in the playoffs.
Cooks catching the ball could be a factor if he holds on to the ball.
Yeah, I know he had that bad drop against the Patriots, but
he had a bad one against the Bengals too, didn't he?
He might have, yeah. He can get open downfield.
John, here's a trivia question for you. Speaking of Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks had 100 yards receiving last week with the Eagles. How many other 100-yard receivers, tight ends did the Bills have throughout the rest of the season besides that one Brandon Cooks game? Not even games, like how many receivers? Because you can have technically 2 or 3 in one game, technically, but you never do. But how many wide receivers or tight ends had not different ones, but like how many times did it happen? I guess
0.
Zero. I'm sure there's a lot of Bills fans that think that right now. 0. It happened four other times throughout the rest of the season.
Oh, no kidding.
I want to say once it was Coleman, oddly enough, in the first game. One was Kincaid. One was Shakir. Maybe it was 2 or Shakir, 2 or Kincaid, or something like that. But yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even today, nobody did, right? I don't think.
I would think.
With Trubisky's good game.
No. Highest was Keon Coleman with 49 yards.
No, there you go. And the one was 38 yards on the blown coverage. Oh.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Yeah. Good call. Other than that, it was Dalton Kincaid.
Oh man, Henry's already got 112 yards.
And it's what, the second quarter?
Yeah, a minute left in the second.
How many does he need to win it?
30 seconds. It's like, I think it was like 152, 153, somewhere around there. So, yeah.
Well, that's a shame. I mean, if they really wanted James Cook to win it, they would have kept him in all game and he would have won it. Like they knew it was a possibility that Henry was going to win it.
Yeah, I'm sure they had a conversation about it. It's better they didn't risk the injury to Cook, I think. They made the right call. It's just going to really suck when he doesn't win the thing because of Henry. But
well, I mean, would you want him going the way of Matt Prater or Max Hairston, right?
No. He's our second best offensive player.
Mr. Big says to John's comment, if they don't score more than 30, they are going to be screwed. So this week I plan on going over like stats like that, going into the playoffs, like when they score how many points, like what is their record? So if you want to say what's their record when they score at least 30 points, John, I'm going to say they are 5-0, 6-0, 7-0, 8-0. They're 8-0 when they score 30 points or more. They have not lost a game where they scored 30 points.
Makes sense.
When they did lose, let's see how many points they scored. 20, 14, 13, 19, 12. When they lost, John, I think you could argue
less than 20. Oh my gosh.
You could argue the offense is the number one reason why they lose those games, in my opinion.
For sure.
Is it even close? I mean, they scored 20 against the Patriots. They scored 14 against the Falcons. They scored 13 against the Dolphins, which is unacceptable in my opinion. They scored 19 against the Texans. At least that one I can kind of get, but they only scored 12 against the Eagles. Like,
yeah.
So it's almost like here, based on that, what I just told you, when they score 20 in the games that they lost, they didn't score more than 20 points. And when they score 20 points, they never won a game. The lowest amount of points that they've won a game with is 23 points, where they won against the Browns, 23-20. That was the lowest amount of points that they won a game with. So if the Bills don't score at least 23 points, they're not likely to win. So to Mr. Big's point, yeah. We'll see, man. Let's see. Anything else you want to cover about, exciting things? Did you want to share any of your favorite moments from Highmark or the Ralph or New Era Field or anything like that? Like any memories that we had together? I mean, not to put you on the spot, John. I know you've had season tickets with other people, engaged with other people, but when you did have season tickets with Mike and I. Who else did we have with Bill? Was it just the four of us? It was just the four of us, right?
Yeah, didn't I have it 2 different years, not consecutively, but like 2 different years?
I can't remember. Dude, I'm old.
Pretty sure.
I can't.
I'm pretty sure we did.
No, you had them with like, was it people from work? Oh, it was Dave, your buddy Dave. That's when you had it.
Oh,
It wasn't
okay.
consecutive. Yeah, that's another thing that's sad is like now that we're finally a little bit older and we're making like a little bit more money. Of course, it doesn't matter now because we can't afford season tickets at the new stadium. Like we could technically get them. Like our kids are getting older, so they're less. They need a little bit less from us that we could potentially get season tickets. But it's like, well, we don't have PSL, so it's kind of a pipe dream. But John, any memories from there
Uh,
or
no.
games or even games like that we went to from any of the
Oh,
season,
oh,
like the
oh.
specific like a good game or a bad game?
We the game they beat the Patriots for the first time in a long time.
That was a good
With
one.
with Fitzpatrick. That was really good.
You didn't go to that game, did you?
Pretty sure I did, didn't I? Maybe I didn't. Did
I
I?
didn't go to that game. I was traveling. Maybe
What year?
there was a year I had
What year
tickets.
was that? What year
I'm
was that?
thinking it was 2011.
Did I have season tickets that
You
year?
might have had season tickets.
I
Dude, if
thought
you went to that game, you'd have remembered that one for
pretty
sure.
sure. Maybe I don't remember. I'm kind of old.
The most memorable games I remember. So like as a kid, obviously the 51-3 Raiders game for the first AFC championship where the Bills won it and made it all the way. Like that was
You
a
were
huge
at that. You were at that game.
No, so now I'm just talking about games in general. So like I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. I was like,
I
oh my
shifted
god.
gears. Yeah, dude, I was 7 years old. That was an amazing game.
Yeah, I've
First
never been to a playoff game. So
so I actually ended up going to the Bills Dolphins game a couple years ago in the playoffs. That was the first playoff game I ever went to. That was a cool game, except the Bills just kept them in the game. The Dolphins had their third string quarterback, so that was frustrating.
Skylar Thompson.
Skylar Thompson, you got it. That was a frustrating game, but they ended up winning somehow. I went to the Ravens game last year, which was a really good game to go to. So I'm lucky that they've been 2-0 when I went to the playoff games.
So you got to go to Jacksonville next week.
I would like to go to. Mike went there a few years ago when the Bills ended the drought. He went to that. He was in Florida visiting his family, and he just ended up staying just to go to the Jacksonville Jaguars game. Yeah. So he's been there, but yeah, it'd be interesting. So no favorite game I ever went to as a fan. If it's not that first game, just because, that's your first game. Like, it's funny, memorable games. I remember when I was in college later, like my dad once had got tickets. He's like, I can't use these tickets. You want them? I'm like, hell yeah, I want them. Went with a buddy from Buffalo. I'm like, dude, I got tickets. He's like, oh, sweet. He's from Buffalo, so he's excited. Like, we're both excited. We're going as like college kids with like no parents or anything, 19-year-olds or whatever. The Bills got blown out 41-7 by the Patriots. Like, that was one of those games where it was Randy Moss's season. So like they're hanging up like 60-yard bombs when they're up by 5 scores, like it was like the biggest margin of loss that the Bills ever had in that stadium. So I was there for that. I was there for history. I was there recently. Remember when the Bills lost to the Colts like a few years ago, like 40-7 or something, like Jonathan Taylor ran all over them. I was at that game. That was cold and wet and miserable. Man.
Yeah.
I remember the Bills, when we had season tickets that one year, the Bills were playing the Giants. The year that the Giants won the Super Bowl, ended up winning the Super Bowl. They went 9-7 that year, and the Bills were playing them really well. And then Kavika Mitchell, when he was playing with the Giants, not with the Bills, he ended up picking off, I think it was Fitzpatrick or who was it? Trent Edwards. I have no idea at that point who it was, but he picked him off and he took it for a touchdown. I was like, I think that sealed the game. But they ended up being the Patriots in the Super Bowl, so that's all right.
Remember when we first got season tickets, to that point, I had never been to a game where the Bills had lost. And I basically had gone to one a year between ages 9 and 17 or 16, maybe 16. They're like, oh, well, they're going to win every home game now. That was, because that was like prime drought years too, right? So it didn't work.
That's amazing. Ever since you were a kid up until we had season tickets, they won every single year, every single game.
Yeah. Well, I guess I think there was one exception. I think I went with my uncle one year in December. It was like Thurman Thomas's last 1,000-yard year, and he got the 1,000 yards, and then they like sat everybody for the rest of the game after he got his 1,000 yards. So we left, and I think they lost, but that didn't really count.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of things that I'll miss the most about that stadium and that stadium experience that won't be carried over to the new stadium, or like, because I mean, you could talk about tailgating. Like, I love tailgating with you guys. That was one of my favorite moments of like that season that we had tickets, or this 2 seasons, was like just tailgating. Like we were at a point in our lives where like we'd go early, we tailgate all morning, and then we'd go to the game, and then we'd stay after because we didn't have to go home to anything. It was like, might as well just stick around. Like we cook again, we'd have a fire if it was cold or whatever, and then just like throw the ball around. Like those are like,
the 12-hour day, easy
12-hour day. Yeah. It's like such a simple part of life, but like, looking back, like some of my fondest memories of like, hanging with you guys. So that was always fun, watching, like walking the parking lots and seeing the tailgating going on in different places, which, became super famous when social media really took off. I mean, there were things that if like you could take videos of that were going on at that season, like they'd probably go viral today. Like some of the things, not a ton of memories of that, but like, like you ever see the area in the stadium where you have to cross the stream? Like, I feel like we did that once or twice for some reason, the season tickets, either we park somewhere different or whatever. Like that we've done a ton, in that. And I don't think the stadium specifically is what I'll miss the most. It's just the games at the stadium. So, I mean, we went there when we had season tickets. They didn't even have the other scoreboard in the other end zone. Remember, it was just in the one end zone. So we always had to like look behind us in the rock pile to see what the hell was going on the other side of the field.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Once they cross the 50, it's like, I can't see anything anyway. It's always like, I like sitting in the last few years that I've gone, maybe 3-4 years now, or at least the last 3 or 4 games that I've been to, we got seats in like the 300s. Is this high up? Like you can see everything good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I'm hoping it'll be the same. Obviously the comeback game, like I couldn't watch it. I just heard it on the radio, but you actually got to watch it because you got like Syracuse stations on your TV here in Rochester, right?
Yeah, my dad had an antenna up in the attic or whatever that could reach Syracuse, and it was fuzzy, but we could see the game.
That's awesome. I just listened to it on the radio, and I remember thinking that was cool. Here's one. Mr. Big says Hines kickoff return for after, the Hamlin injury trumps the comeback as the best moment in the stadium's history for me. That's a really good one. You mentioned that the Patriots beating, or the Bills beating the Patriots for the first time in that decade, when they beat I remember seeing that on TV. Obviously I wasn't there live, but that's a good one. Man, players that I miss seeing in that stadium, like Fred Jackson, I'll miss, watching him play, Eric Moulds, some of the players that you grew up watching, man, like just like so many good players to come out of those teams that, even in the drought era that you look back fondly on, you're like, oh, it's like an end of an era, literally. And I think that's what I'll miss the most, but I mean, it's not like we're losing the team, right? So like, it's good to be like emotional and sentimental about it, but like, we'll just make, those memories don't go away. It's just going to be in a different location, right? A better location, really.
It's across the street. That kind of, I always thought it was weird. Like they're calling it the farewell season. It's like, I feel like it's a little too dramatic.
Yeah, I know. It's a good marketing plug, though. Got me going. Mr. Big said just in Buffalo versus Jacksonville as the early Sunday game on CBS.
All right.
Interesting. Let's go.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully we see a New England Patriots loss before that so we can enjoy that, because, yeah, they've only beaten one team over 500 this season. it's going to be an interesting playoffs. I mean, they could easily like go to the Super Bowl, and I'd be like, okay, I can kind of see that coming. But at the same time, like they could get bounced in the first round, and I don't know if I'd be super surprised about that.
Now I could see this game going either way.
I mean, if Drake May is MVP material, like he should easily get out of the first round and out of the second round, right? Like, I mean, this is a guy that people are saying is the MVP. Like, you can't get a first round exit and be the MVP, right? Like, that's not acceptable, in my opinion. Josh won it. He just so happened to. But I think they do voting already. I'm not sure, but Mr. Big said Chargers are versus Pats on Sunday Night Football. So thank you for that. That'll be interesting. So we'll be watching that late. See who the Bills are going to be playing. But yeah, looks like the Ravens right now, it's only halftime as we're watching. Everyone listening to this after in the audio version or watching this later knows exactly what's going to happen. But yeah, Charlie B just came in, said we can hope for a New England first round exit.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Absolutely. So I'm going to dive more into like these passing stats and also the running backs that, in the Jaguars defense, like I'm looking at the Jaguars statistics. I mentioned that they never had 100-yard running back. They played against some halfway decent teams. I mean, they played against the 49ers with Christian McCaffrey. They played against the Rams with Kyron Williams. They played against the Raiders. The Raiders don't have Josh Jacobs anymore. Who do the Raiders have?
Ashton Genty.
That went to overtime. I mean, if you want to talk about a team that's getting hot at the right time, like the Jaguars are probably that team, right? They did beat the Broncos a couple of weeks ago, 34-20. They beat the Jets 48-20. That doesn't really matter. But they've really only been tested by the Broncos because they played the Titans, the Colts, the Colts without Daniel Jones. They played the Jets, the Colts, the Titans, the Cardinals, the Chargers. The Chargers, they won 35-6. Now that's an impressive win in week 11, right? 35-6 in week 11 is an impressive win. But that was week 11. Like they've had one really meaningful win since then against a team that's over 500. The Broncos, which the Broncos are the first seed. Don't get me wrong. That's a good team. They barely won in overtime in week 9 against the Raiders. So they lost 35-7 against the Rams. Like this team is beatable. They're just, they're a good team.
Playoffs.
It's playoffs. Anything can happen. You just got to get in, right? Wouldn't it be funny, John? This is, I'll be 100% honest. This is the least confident I've been about the Bills team going in, just because of offensively the things I mentioned, and then also with all the injuries mostly. But doesn't that kind of set up for I've been much more confident going into the postseason. The Bills always exited right in the second round or the championship game. Wouldn't that make more sense than the year that I don't feel as confident they make it all the way? Like, isn't there some sort of logic there?
Yeah, I mean, I feel less confident than most years in the Bills, but I also feel less confident about the field, specifically for the AFC. Mm-hmm. So I guess if I combine those two things, then I kind of feel the same.
Kind of evens out a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the teams that are in it, I mean, who has the most playoff experience, right? Like it's the Bills by far. The Bills have the most playoff experience of all the teams, really. Especially if you look at like the quarterbacks and coaching staffs. Herbert's been in the playoffs, hasn't had any success there. Bo Nix has been in the playoffs one season, hasn't had any success, lost to the Bills last year. Drake May, never been to the playoffs. Trevor Lawrence, I don't think he's even won a playoff game yet. Like the Bills based on experience, based on being there, like they're the most dangerous team based on that, right? The Texans have been there. They haven't really made any noise.
Yeah, we're selling ourselves short here. We should be more optimistic.
There's lots of reasons I'm trying to find ways to be optimistic. I think I'm talking myself into one. So, it'll be interesting. I'm going to go over the stats a little bit more this week now that we know that we're playing the Jaguars. But Yeah, John, this has been really fun going down memory lane, talking Bills, talking this win, even though it's somewhat meaningless. It was, it was important in the fact that the red helmets came back for the first time in years. And, it was the last game at Highmark Stadium where we have a lot of memories. We're all, a lot of Bills fans that were able to go to those games and, sit there. There are people that, were there for the very first game who went there with their dads, back in the, what was it, the 60s or 70s? 70s is when they started at the Rock Pile, right? Or no, whatever. The Rock Pile closed, what Rich Stadium became, right? Was it 80s?
Yeah, so 1973 is when they moved to their current stadium.
So yeah, lots of memories there. Lots of people, family relations, like just a lot of things going into the end of this era. So that was fun to talk about. And it's exciting going into the playoffs. So this is from Charlie B. He says, if I feel less confident in the Bills' ability to win it all, but when you look outside the organization, there are no clear-cut runaways. So that's kind of what we were talking. John, I didn't even mention the tweets here. Let me do those real quick. Let me see if I got some good tweets before we do the giveaways. Let's see.
I forgot about the giveaway. See, I'm glad you remembered.
I even asked you to write it down, John. Jeez.
I did. It's in big letters. And I forgot still.
All right. Let's see. Hold on, I'm trying to get to my profile. Let's see where I posted the last tweet. It says we're live. Our beautiful faces. Okay. Any hot takes after this victory? Also asked about favorite memories as well. Michael said watching a Jim Kelly / Ted Marchibroda led offense run the no huddle K gun on the opening drive against the Colts so effectively that they didn't know what hit them and called a timeout to try to slow the Bills down, and the K gun was born. That's really good. The Winter Classic, I can't believe I forgot that one. The Winter Classic, that was a good one. I asked for hot takes after. David Leary says, keep the helmets for the playoffs. Find a kicker. Yes. AJ Tharp said the Jets made us look like $1 million. I haven't seen our receivers that open all year long. Praying Prater and Hairston are okay. We can't let next week come down to a kick. Yeah. Yeah, John, if we're going back to ways that we might not feel so confident, that's one of the reasons I might not feel as confident. Big Mike is back and he says, hot take. I appreciate that Josh wants to be an Iron Man with a consecutive game streak, but the 2 times he's come in and just ran one play most definitely cheapens the accomplishment. Sure. I'd also say that he does more than most quarterbacks running the ball, so maybe that evens out. David T says Mitch Trubisky looked better running this offense than Josh Allen. He gets the ball out on time and doesn't hesitate like Allen. He's also playing against the Jets, 4th stringers, right? Or 3rd stringers, 2nd stringers. But yeah, he does. He definitely ran that much more efficiently. I will not disagree with that, John. I think that, rolling out like he found an open guy. There was a lot of rollouts today, which I liked. I think they need to do that more with Josh Allen. Matt Jones says the red helmets should make a permanent return. I agree with that. The Mafia Mentality says that we're spanking Jacksonville next week. Cook running for 150 plus and winning by 10 plus points. Oh man. I love that. And then Dan Duffy says injuries are a big downer. And then MH says WTF was Max in the game. Gave up 35-0. Yeah, we kind of talked about that as far as why that was done. But still, I don't know if I would have agreed with that. Agree with that one. So if you'd like to be part of our giveaways we do each week on the podcast, if you'd like to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, you can do so. Just finding us on Apple Podcasts, Circling the Wagons, and then just leave us a 5-star review there. Also, if you want to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify, you can do that. Just screenshot me the 5-star review so I can put it on there and get you in. If you want to leave comments like Big Mike has been doing, like Charlie B has been doing, like John Roberts been doing, like you guys do that during the show, I'll get you in on the podcast giveaways as well. I'd like to do that. And so here I'm going to share the screen. We're going to give 2 giveaways. People have been going back and forth with the different giveaways. So this week we're giving away a Taron Johnson signed jersey and a Don Beebe signed jersey to the winners. So the first winner we have is Margie Lube. That's Margie Lube, Margilube. And then the second winner is Charlie B. Wow. I did not make that up just now. Charlie B. Charlie B, you guys won. Make sure to message me, DM me, email me, ctwpod@gmail.com. Let me know, and I will send that over your way. Had several packages to deliver before Christmas, so got those out, thank God. And yeah, so we'll go from there. So thank you guys all for listening. Thank you guys all for watching. This has been the best season for live streams that we've had. We've had almost every one of them has been 2,000 to 3,000 live streams the first day, and then going even more so after that. So thank you guys for listening and watching us, leaving a review, comments, all that fun stuff. Appreciate you guys. Looking forward to going into the playoffs, man. This could be the season. We mentioned all the reasons why and why we should be optimistic and why we're a little bit worried. So what it comes down to is it doesn't matter how you get there, man. You just got to get there. So signing off for my co-host, John.
Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? Go Bills.
Absolutely. And for me, Nate, go Bills. It's been a fun one. We'll be thinking about Highmark, but we'll also be enjoying the new stadium. So love you guys, and we'll talk to you all again soon.
Thank you for listening to the Circling the Wagons podcast. Download and subscribe to us in your favorite podcast service. Email us at ctwpod@gmail.com. That's Charlie Tango Whiskey Pod@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at CTWPod. And most importantly, go Bills!
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, Nate.
Well, listen, the whole show is called Circling the Wagons. Say no more. I love it.